Shabbat Shalom. We are almost now getting to the ending of this second book of the Torah, Shemo. And we are in this Shabbat, it's a special Shabbat called Shabbat Para. You know, it's the Shabbat of the cow or the heifer. And also here in this portion we had it's called KiTisa. You take, when you take, and it's to take the census of Israel to know how many men are for the army. Basically, that was the census. At that time, to take the number of men was to show how much confidence we have in ourselves. Sometimes people don't understand why the Creator said, do not take census. And when he asked for census, he needed to provide certain way. Because in that way, the people could learn to trust in him in everything that they do. And this is a story about trusting. And it's so important about what I told you before, if you remember, this portion in the middle, chapter 32 to 34, is the Egel Sahab, there is the golden calf. And it's covered in two sides by the Mikdash, the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting, the sanctuary, and then comes Shabbat. And then comes the golden calf, and again start with the Shabbat and continue with the Mishkan. And I explained to you in the weeks before what was the idea, why the Creator is doing this. Because this portion is not chronological, but it is more pedagogical. And always the Torah is for us to learn the principles. Not to learn the forms, but to learn the principles. Because the forms can be done in many times in many different ways according to different Mesorahs, according to different traditions. You know, we Jewish people were divided in many groups, and every group has their own traditions. And the tradition cannot impose over the Torah. And here we are going to be brought to something that is very important for us to understand. Is that the Creator wants us to understand his principle for life. And when he gives us something, we need to take it in our heart and to really put it in practice. Begins this portion about giving a half shekel before to take in the census of the people. And he provides the reason why. One of those is to avoid the plagues. You know, it's very interesting because we are in the middle of supposedly a plague. And I say supposedly because sometimes, you know, we may think bigger than what they are. And we are right now they call it a pandemic plague, but I call it more a pandemic plague. There's more panic than really reality, okay? There is a mass hysteria. And we need to start learning about doing the thing for what they need to be done. By the way, you know, if you keep the basic nature of cleanliness and doing the thing that you need to do, and to avoid somebody is with some kind of cold or some kind of fever, stay at home, you know, and you're going to see that you avoid the transmission of any disease. Here in our community, we say, if you have a cold, don't come. Stay at home. You know, recover yourself, and then you come when you're okay. But don't come with something that you are going to propagate to everybody. And this is what it is, basic responsibility. But when we blow everything out of proportions, you know, creates what we call a panic, a massive panic in all the world. Do you know that right now, you cannot find towel papers, toilet paper. You cannot find toilet paper. And you know, this disease doesn't produce diarrhea to anybody. And you ask yourself, what's this? You know, the people are fighting in the stores, trying to buy, like the world is going to end. You know, we are living. But at least has something good. You know, when there is collective panic, you know, at least the people start being nicer with each other. You know, at least for a moment. And we need to see that the Creator is active and is working. I have told you many times that God did not create only Israel. Sometimes it's difficult to understand. But God is the Father of all humanity. He's the Creator of all human beings. If you are a human, look at this. If you are a human, you have been created by the Creator. Okay? Now, if you are not a human, that's totally different. You are a part. Okay? Secondly, this is not the very interesting thing. If you look at the Torah, all of us, we come from the same root. And I always say, when I say this, I say, I'm sorry that I messed your family, because we are relatives. You know, you want it or not, we are relatives. You know? Very far away, we have some kind of a relationship, because we come from the same human being. And all of us, we're humans. And then, because we have this, it's so important to understand that we are all together. And what the Creator is giving here, a message to all of us. Every male from 20 years old over needs to bring half shekel. If you are rich, half shekel. If you are poor, half shekel. What are you trying to tell us with that? That all our souls, our neshamas, all of us humans, we have the same value. There is no one that's better than the other. Not because you have more, you're better than the one that has less. And not because more, in many ways, is not only about material things. It's about education, it's about knowledge, about wisdom. You know, there are many areas. Not because you feel superior to somebody, you're better than somebody. Totally the contrary. We are all equal before His eyes. And then, when we are disobedient, and this is a very interesting thing, is when we suffer consequences. That is the reason that this also is helpful as a cover for all His people. And He's telling us in a very special way, preparing us about the unity and to belong to some place. And here is telling us to belong to a community. Because if you isolate yourself, you start dying. And to continue to have life, we need to live together in community. And when we live in community, we need to have unity. But that unity doesn't mean uniformity, as many people misunderstand. You see, unity doesn't mean that everybody needs to dress in the same way. Unity doesn't mean that everybody needs to think in the same way. Unity doesn't mean that we eat the same things or we like the same things. What a unity means is that we are for each other, to help each other, and to continue working together. And each one of us has something important to give. You will be surprised in this community how special are each one of you. Only by the mere action of you attending the community, you are special. You know, I have my best people. I always say that I won't give you names today, in that way nobody feels much better than the other, okay? But you are my special people, and I know exactly who you are and which position you have. But one thing they like it is when I see people with age, I call it elderly mature, and people that are very young. And both very mature and very young, they provide something to the community. And they are necessary in the community. And no one is better than the other. But each one provides something special. Also, we can see in our community there were different people, but each one has a giftiness or something special. And that is what provides that we have diversity. Because unity in diversity, that's what is beautiful. I have given you before this example. Do you remember the idea of the mosaic? When I went to Mexico City, and I went to visit the University of Mexico City, the beautiful university. They have beautiful buildings, and they have beautiful mosaics, huge. And when you go very far away, it's a beautiful pictures, okay? But when you get very close, you start seeing the little pieces of the material that make the colors and different, and then takes away the picture in general. And what it's telling here about the mosaic, that if we are too close, we get lost. We lose perspective. But when we take a step back, we can see a panoramic view of everything. And we can see everybody. And we cannot see only ourselves. And this is what I call it unity, but not uniformity. Because the pieces are different, the colors are different, but each one has a place, very specific, in order to form the beautiful picture. And that's what the Creator is doing with us. And this is the first portion of this KiTisa, to be counted. And the important thing is that you are piece of that mosaic, and you are there in the mosaic. Then you are counted. Because when you are not in the mosaic, you are not counted. You are not there. You don't participate. And sometimes people say, well, I don't have any qualifications, or I am not prepared, or I am not study, or I am not rich, or I don't have this, or I am not, all of that are pure excuses. Because all of us, we have something to give of ourselves. And that is the selfishness of the people who are in the position of give me, and never they give anything. And the Creator doesn't want, beggars. What He wants is people that are walking and acting. And doesn't matter what is your situation, you have something to give. All of us have something to give. That is this is the part. And every element that I'm going to talk about the Mishkan, specifically, each one has a use and is used in different areas. But He say very clear, do not, and this called my attention to me, do not mix what is sacred with the mundane. And I was trying to understand what the Creator was trying to tell me with that example. Have you heard that saying, the familiarity produces contempt? Sometimes we lose perspective among ourselves. And we think to be familiar means to be disrespectful. And sometimes too much closeness is not the best. Because we need to maintain a relationship. And then, you know, there are times that we need certain propriety. And you know what is happening today in our world? We have lost all respect for our leaders, for our elders, for anybody who comes in a position of authority or anything like that. And we talk in our backs, and we do things that are terrible. And the Creator has given us what His likeness and image. We are created according to His likeness and image. And each one of us, we are special in His eyes. There's a reason that in community, it's very important, the mutual respect for each other. Not about how much you do, it's about who you are. Because who you are is what is important. And we need to have respect for each other. And that is the separation about the sacred from the mundane. What it means is don't mix everything. Put order. And that's what the Creator wants, order. No? No salad, in order. Everything very clear. Finish this, immediately comes and he's going to talk again about the Shabbat. And this time, not only going to tell us about, we learn about the Shabbat, that not only that He created the world and He rested, you know, but He brings the Shabbat to us. And we have the Mishkan, and then we have the Shabbat. The Mishkan, we need to build together. The Mishkan is the first time that the Creator brings us as a people to do something together. Everything prior to the Mishkan was given by the Creator. If you look at the story of Israel, when Israel didn't do absolutely nothing to be delivered from Egypt. Not only did they didn't do anything, didn't do anything, but they didn't even ask to leave Egypt. They were happy in Egypt if Pharaoh didn't push them down. They will be a slave the rest of their life because it's easier to be taken care of. And they were pulled out, even against their own will. They were not totally convinced that was good. And what they did those 40 years in the middle of the desert, the only thing that they did is complain and complain and complain. No? And the Creator keep going with them. And here we are going to find, in this portion of the golden calf, look at, has not passed too much time that when they receive the 10 commandments, the 10 words. The second commandment says very clear, you shall not make any likeness or image of me. Don't make anything. Don't make a statue, don't make anything. That will be a good thing for certain religions to read those portions, but that's up to them. But what do we do? As soon as Moshe Rabbeinu, at the end of chapter 24, said that he went for 40 days, 40 nights, you know, they even looked like that they knew the time that he was going to be away. On the day 39, they start supposedly getting worried he was not coming back. The Creator, through Moshe Rabbeinu, leaves his oldest brother, Aaron, to be in charge of the people while he's away. And when are dear Aaron that? You know, when he is pushed to the corner by the people who they wanted to make a god, you know, and you need to read the scriptures. You know, it's not what I tell you. You read it and what it says. You can understand in any way that you want. More and more, I'm trying to understand our sages And I'm trying to understand our rabbis why they trying to exonerate Aaron from all of this. I need to understand why. Because it will be very easy to be judgmental. But if I was in Aaron's role, I will do the same thing or no? I will be scared or no? I will have the commitment to stand up against those people or no? I like one of the ideas that come from our sages. And it is that Moshe Rabbeinu represents a type of person, and Aaron represents another type of person. Moshe Rabbeinu represents the administration, the justice, the doing what is right according to follow the middle. And Aaron represents the mercy, the love, the shalom, the peace. He was a peacemaker. Even in the Midrashim, they say that Aaron never convicted anybody of sin. And he was the Hagadol Kohen. He never accused anybody of doing anything wrong. That's the story, no? Then he was the goody-goody. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that exercised authority. And you know what? Before the eyes of God, we need both sides. And Aaron was given the role of being the high priest. And no Moshe Rabbeinu. And the question always we ask is why? And here is something that I found too in reading the scriptures. There is no a perfect man. There is no one in our heroes of the scriptures. They are perfect. You know, today we expect perfection in our leaders. We expect that they cannot do anything wrong. You know, like we do not see ourselves how we are. We expect from somebody else more than we can expect for ourselves. And you're right. Many of us, we judge our parents because they didn't give us what we were expecting that they needed to give us. And we judge our parents because we are upset. And we don't see that one day we ourselves we are going to be parents, and we're going to see how perfect parents we are. But what I want to tell you is, look at these principles that the Torah is putting in our hands to apply for us today. Not to get lost in the story alone, but to see what the Torah is trying to teach us, to apply in our life today. The Creator doesn't expect perfection in us, but He's going to give us responsibilities. And the responsibility that He's going to give it to us is not beyond our capabilities. We see in the construction of the Mishkan, He's going to bring Bezalel, and He's going to bring Oholiab, and He's going to bring other people, and each one going to have their task and their capabilities according to what they can do. He doesn't ask you more than you can give. The problem is that many of us, we have been self-defeated. We are our worst enemies. We say, oh, I cannot do this, oh, I cannot do that, I am not good for this, I am not good for that, you know, always. And that to me is a false humility. That is escapism. I want to escape from my responsibilities. What I will be more honest to say is, I don't want to do it. And we are in this situation at this time, all over the world, and we are in our more small communities. We expect that somebody else do it for us. We expect that somebody else is the one that's going to take the responsibility. And all of us, we are responsible for what we need to do. Not my neighbor. And every time that you say, oh, I don't do it well, or I am not capable to do it, but when you look for excuses, don't try to put everybody in the same pot. And finally, to tell, and the girls I have, the Creator forgave the people and created means for them to come back, to do teshuvah. There were consequences. There are always consequences for our misbehavior, and sometimes fatal consequences. And we cannot blame anybody but ourselves. But here, Moshe Rabbeinu had a very impressive reaction with his people. I believe that in this time was when Moshe Rabbeinu finally realized that Israel were his own people. Until that moment, he had been a reluctant leader. Even here in this portion, we are going to see this discussion. First, the Creator said to Moshe Rabbeinu, look at what your people are doing. And then Moshe Rabbeinu said to God, you created these people for this, and they are going to be the laughing stock. And this is your people. And then each one were playing ping pong, who Israel people was for. And finally, Moshe Rabbeinu takes the responsibility of his people. And he say, you know, if you are going to do this, it's better that you erase me from your book. Finally, Moshe Rabbeinu appropriate his people. In this community, many of us, we are still visitors. And we have not appropriate this place as ours. Then it's very easy to say, I live whenever I want to. Because I had only passing through. But the Creator is telling you, is telling us, that all of us, we are together in this community. And we need to keep going, especially in the difficult times. Because He has called us for a special time like this. This small community is bringing a lot of things for other people. You know? And we are asking people to question this thing. Do you want a religion, or do you want a relationship with the Creator? Do you want to be holier than thou, or you want to be the real person that you are and humble yourself before the Creator? Do you want to be the star, or do you want to be part of this community? The Creator called all of us to be part. He called Israel to do a special function, to be Or Legoyim, to be light to the world. We still have a responsibility. We need to keep shining even when the day is very dark. This is my calling to all of you for this Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.